Let's see. Right. I've been having a little tidy up. I've just taken a load of stuff off my project board. I put a few things down there which I might need. A few things in there which are from before, from previous projects, and I couldn't be asked to start sorting them out, putting the LEDs in the LED trays and all that sort of. I thought, well, my filter, when I start building this filter, I don't need all this room. Yeah. But anyway, and I've been having to clear up. I've got my signal generator over here, which I built back in the 1980s. I think it was 1987 or something. It does RF up to 1 megahertz and also audio frequencies from basically something like 10 hertz up to something like 20, 30 kilohertz or something. I can't remember now. It's so long since I made it, but I made it when I was working while self-employed. I needed a decent signal generator, and yeah, and I've got low, medium, high settings on it and everything. So that's, I've probably shown this before. I never finished it, to be honest with you. When I built it, I never finished it. The meter's not even connected to anything right now. But it was supposed to be connected to the audio. There's an audio amp in there as well. It was connected, supposed to be connected to the audio amp, and it's supposed to give me a representation of the audio signal and everything and all that, blah blah blah. I'll probably get around to sorting that out actually at some point. But I've got square, sine, and triangle waveforms, and I actually wound the coils myself for the signal generator, because it uses coils, induction coils for the actual RF side of it, but it uses just capacitors and it just basically RC networks for the audio section, but it uses coils for the RF section. So anyway, I got that out and ready so I can start generating some signals from my bandpass filters, which I'm going to build for the generator project, you know, so that I can basically make I think I didn't cover this properly before when I was talking earlier, but basically there's going to be two trigger coils, right? So they'll be offset so that one trigger coil is lower and there'll be another trigger coil higher than that, so that as the RPM increases, it will transition from the slow RPM trigger coil through the low frequency bandpass filter. It will transition from that one to the high RPM, which will basically be an advance. So what will happen is it will advance the timing at the high frequencies so that we can optimize the amount of RPM and keep the current consumption low. So I was thinking about making a 3-stage bandpass, but yeah, I don't know if I need 3 stages, but I'll probably design it anyway. I'll probably build it on this board, so that I've got it, and then I can design it on circuit board, so I can build the 3-stage. I can just build the 2 stages on the circuit board, and if I need a 3rd stage I can just add it on later, and I'll just make the diagram so I've got all references to the values needed. You know, something like 10 hertz to 30 hertz, 30 hertz to 45 or 50 hertz, 50 hertz to something like 65 hertz or something like that. Anyway, basically so that I can have an optimum self-adjusting timing system for the. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and look at the previous live stream I did, which is just before this one. I did it a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday actually. Anyway, it was Sunday. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, I just thought it's just a little update. Nothing to show right now. I haven't started building the filter, but I just wanted to let you know what's coming next. In a day or two. I was just clearing a clean up, because I tell you, my table was jam packed. It was basically like the end of the table. The other end of the table is still full of crud, Yeah, and my other generator's still over there as well. Which I'm going to start dismantling that and packing it away, to be honest with you, because it takes up so much room. I mean, I'm pretty much done with that one. It's been a lot of work, and I kind of feel sad, really, after doing all that work on the big red one, to be dismantling it. But I haven't got much space in here, so yeah. I think it's better if I dismantle it and flat pack it and put it in a box somewhere than leaving it laid around, taking up all this room, because it does take up quite a bit of space, really. And I want to get my table clear. I'll probably stick it in the bedroom temporarily out the way, and then I'll dismantle it on a rainy day when I feel, yeah, like, oh, that's it, I'm doing it. Plus, I can salvage the drive shaft out of it, and that'll come in handy for another project at some point, because it's a good drive shaft in there. Another reason why I kept this one down to 2, I'd actually built a 3D model of 4 stages. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why I kept it down to 2 stages is because at higher RPMs you get a lot of resonance in the drive shaft, and it's a 6mm drive shaft. And at higher RPMs you would get a lot of flop, and that causes vibration and it causes instability. So I decided I'm just going to go with the 2-stage for now, which keeps the drive shaft really short, and there's less chances of something breaking or going wrong or getting out of balance or anything like that when you've got 2 stages. And if I decide later to do a 3-stage with the same drive shaft, I couldn't easily do that. I could do a 1, 2, 3 stage and see how that performs, and then I'll move on to the 4-stage. And yeah, but it's basically a process to determine how stable it's going to be with a 6mm drive shaft. Obviously, if it's not stable, it would require a thicker drive shaft, something like 8mm or 10mm, and yeah, you know, basically. But that causes other problems, because then you've got to buy bigger bearings and everything else, and it's more money and everything else. So I'm just happy to stay with the 2-stage for now. I've decided that the bottom section where the other coils would go, the generator coils at the bottom, which is, I've got a piece of polystyrene stuck in there right now. I've decided that at some point I'm going to put the drive coils in there, you know, the actual ones that push it along, so the pulse circuit to drive it will have the coils underneath, so then I can mess about to my heart's content with the generator coils on the top, and without too much messing about, because most of the control will be done on the circuit board anyway for the drive shafts, the drive control circuit, so I can mount that anywhere. I can stick it on the back if I want somewhere. Or if I actually do have it pulse driven, then I can do away with the motor. I won't need the motor on here anymore. I'll be able to take that off, and I'll be able to mount the circuit board on this platter that sticks out, you know, this platform here. So I'll be able to use that for the circuit board, the control system, which will keep the noise down a lot. It'll be a lot quieter. So anyway, that's enough of my waffle. 8 minutes of waffle. Yeah, rather than me just streaming for hours and hours and hours with nothing to show, I'm going to disappear now. So, yeah. Alright, toodaloo.